I am ready.
Okay.
Let's test. Let's do some tests.
I think this is where the test
Test,
is going to start.
test. All I want for Christmas is you, baby.
Okay, yeah, low-key, this
Christmas
ain't, this is a
is
podcast. This ain't you trying to audition for American
baby.
Idol, so enough of that.
I'm pressing on one of my ears because then it makes you hear, your voice better.
No,
that's
that's just you
that's
telling
what
yourself
the professionals
you
do.
want to hear your voice.
No, that's what the professionals do. You
Even
don't know about it.
it's bad.
I don't expect you to know about it. You don't know about it.
I sure do. Come on, let's get the show rolling.
Test 1, 2. Angels episode is a go. What's up, Bona Fide friends? We are back for another Wednesday hump day for episode number
7. That is
Siete.
right. Bona Fide Bullshit, the podcast. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for another glorious week with us.
So I just wanna check in. I want to talk about me a little bit, because we're always talking about you and your little cigar thing.
No, we're not. What episodes are you listening to?
Whatever. We've touched on it.
References, maybe.
We've touched on it. Everyone knows you're the cigar smoking DJ. But anyway, so let's talk about me a little bit. I want to be the star of the show for once,
Oh my God.
I'm always the star of the show, but we'll just save that for later.
Yeah, or you keep telling yourself that.
Everyone tells me that, not just me. Anyway, so I want to tell everyone that you've been, tapping into the fitness world lately.
I guess you could call it.
As of late. Yeah, we are. Tomorrow, you'll be 10 days, not 10 days in. Well, you're 10 workouts in. We're on our 3rd week. You're 10 workouts in. We'll be 10 workouts in tomorrow. So how do you feel?
Well, it's interesting you bring this up. That is true. I have been turning over a new leaf and getting up in the mornings, getting up a little bit with you when you get up.
Because we're not waiting till the New Year's. A lot of people
No, this is not no
do.
New Year's resolutions, Jenny.
No, this is
like
a life
that.
resolution.
This is something that I know we've always kicked around, and there's been many through our relationship of being together. There's been many times where I
start and
start working out, get into it, get out. I bring the weight down where I want it, and then I let myself go back up, and it's always been an up and down thing. But obviously, I'm a really big active cigar smoker, so during this pandemic, you can't be smoking all day and then eating like shit all day and sitting down all day without doing an exercise. But now that you said that,
I think that's where not that you're giving up, but you're stopping comes from is that it's very easy for you to lose weight. It's very easy for you to drop weight. Comes very fast. Whether it's you giving up certain foods, whether it's you eating a certain way, like any of that stuff. I think it comes very easy to you. And then, like you said, you kind of get comfortable and you're like, all right, cool. Whereas now I don't think there's a really like a goal weight or whatever in mind. I think just in general, I'm hoping anyways, that you are just looking to be a healthier person, for your heart to be healthy, for you to live a long time and all that like good shit,
Well, yeah, that's true, and this is a journey. Like I said, granted that I do share a lot of things on social media, funny videos, the family, whatever. But I have my limits to where I'm like, I don't let everybody into our world. There's just some shit you keep for the home. And obviously that's something these last 3 weeks, I haven't mentioned that I'm doing or telling folks that I am. And I'm glad you brought it up because, today I did notice I was at the barbershop getting a haircut from my boy Easy over at Skull and Thrones, the better half of the Gapster.
Yeah, I'm mad at him right now, so I don't want to talk about him.
But that's a whole nother episode.
But he's okay. Check his barbershop out. It's pretty good.
It's really good. But I'm waiting for him to go ahead and he's getting set up. And I happen to, you're in a barbershop. So the mirrors there are different and they're like, what is it? You used to say like the Target dressing room mirrors to tell you the truth. Is it
yeah,
Target?
They don't lie. They do not fuck around. Like Target, with all the money you make, Target, get better lighting, get better mirrors. Like, don't disrespect us like that. It's rude. It's rude as hell.
Not that he doesn't have no lighting issues. That's the thing. The mirror's so up front. His lighting's so up front. and you kind of see everything. And I looked at myself in the mirror,
No, he has
and
the good lighting. Like they're almost like the ring light. You know,
yeah,
it's
he
that
has
good
above,
lighting.
whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm sitting there, and I could just notice like right off the bat a difference in like my face, like it just a more like toner look, not as of a chubbier cheek. And the crazy thing about that is that, as I'm sitting there and he's cutting my hair and he's shaping up my hair, and obviously when you start cutting out some of the hair, you start feeling like a little bit different too, because then you kind of see a little more of your sculpt and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I'm like, it is making a difference. And I know you took some progress pictures of me, my our second
Mhm.
weekend, and you're
I
like,
know
look at
you
the
thought that was
difference.
kind of weird, but like I was
No, but I
always.
did see the difference, and I admitted it. Yeah, I didn't mean in a weird sense. I'm just like, I don't want to take pictures. Like, I don't want to do that thing again. Like, that's just not
But
my thing.
yeah, I mean, it's really not anyone's thing to like take weird pictures of their body. Like, no one likes that. But back when I started into fitness, and actually, Easy's wife, Gabby, was the one who told me, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I see much of difference. She's like, how have you changed? Is it like weight, whatever? And she's the one who actually told me, he's like, take pictures, because you will always see the difference in pictures. Pictures can't lie. You fucking take the picture, and you could do side by side, and she was right. And till this day, I always do. And even for you too, because you can see everything, whether it's a change, your posture, whatever the case. And, everyone wants to look good, and that's a different feeling within everyone. I don't think it's a size, whether it's the size of a jeans. I don't think it's the number on a scale, because that could fuck you too. Like, I think it's just some a place inside where you don't know where it is yet, and when you get there, you just kind of know and you feel good, and it shows. It shows in your confidence and the way you move or talk or dress and things like that.
You do, I mean, it also changes your mind state. Like today,
For sure.
today I was over in the office, and my buddy was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna step out to go pick up some stuff." And I said, "He's like, you want to join me?" I says, "Give me 1 sec, yeah, I'll join you." Long story long, I go ahead, I join him. He's like, "Hey man, he's like, you feeling hungry or anything?" He's like, "I'm just gonna stop by and grab something at the drive-thru. I got to get something in my stomach." And I saw him pulling into a fast food chain that I'm not gonna promote, but I'm like, no. I was just
Because
like,
you're not sponsored by them.
no, yeah, exactly. We don't do that around her. But just the whole thing was like, I like if that was me a month ago, I would have been like, fuck yeah, bro, let me get a whatever, whatever, let me get it. And I was like, no. And he's like, you sure? And then he tried to do it again, where he tried to like be like, you sure? Last call. Like, hey, this
Yeah,
is
like,
last
hey, I
call.
got you. Like, let's
And
just get something
yeah, I
or
got you, man.
whatever.
He's like, and I think he thought, because I've known this guy for almost 20 years, and I think he thought maybe it was like a money thing. Maybe I was short on cash, which that wasn't the case neither. I legit looked at him. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, haven't you noticed in the morning I'm coming and I'm bringing protein shakes? I mean, I'm eating protein bars. I'm just doing things a little bit different. And he was like, yeah, I kind of saw that shit, but I wasn't sure. And we kind of laughed it off, and we kept it pushing. But to say like the mindset of like, now I know that feeling, truly know that feeling from before. Then when I used to work out, the feeling that I have now is like, when I work out, like I don't want that workout to go to waste. And if I do, I want to make it worth it. Like I've been having and clamoring for a fucking double cheeseburger from Portillo's. And I'm like, at some point, I'm going to give me one. But am I going to be having that every day? No. But it's just like, that's when I'll be like, okay, cool. I had a great week. The burger was well deserved.
For sure.
You know,
Exactly.
so it's different where my mindset has changed. Or hell, like even today, when on my way, I went to go pick up little Eli from you, and you went to go to work, and I went to go to the barbershop with him. I was like, man, my stomach was like going, roar, like it was garbling. And again, going to the shop and coming back home directly, I did not. The old me would have at least grabbed the fucking 99 cents cheeseburger or
Yeah.
grabbed something just on the fly to just put in my mouth.
I
And
know.
I says, no, I'll wait. You know what I mean? Like I said, I had my protein shake, whatever, and I could hold on, and then like I feel better. I had little Jimmy John's, and um
There's healthy,
again, I don't
just
want to go to
making
waste.
more conscious decisions. I think over quarantine and the pandemic, and I think it's not just you, it's me, it's a lot of other people. We're here, we're eating, our dog is shaking in the background, um, and we're comfortable.
I think he was clapping for me.
He was like, good
He
job,
was like,
Dad. um, but yeah, we've all gotten really comfortable. And I know there's people that doesn't like fast food, but for the most part, like, who doesn't? Like, I could, like, if I really wanted to, and I wouldn't gain weight and I wouldn't have a heart attack and all that other shit, like, I could totally have McDonald's every day. I could have fucking donuts. That's my shit. Like, I could have a donut every day. And now I try to keep it to once a week. And like you said, it's like my treat. And I don't feel bad about it, and I think everyone deserves to have treats and eat like
Mm-hmm.
that and such. But it's just making those. I feel like health. I always think is like 80-20. You 80% of the time you do pretty good, and the other 20% of the time, just let yourself do what you got to do. Whether that's eating with your family, whether that's getting a burger while you're out, or you know what I mean. It's just all about that balance. And I think over the pandemic, I personally got worried about you and just seeing like what we were doing. And I'm not saying like I was contributing to that too. Like we weren't cooking a lot, we were ordering a lot, and then I just kept seeing like the foods we were eating and the food you were like eating. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so worried, of that this will catch up, and it's not like, oh, you have like 20 burgers yesterday and, next week you're having a heart attack. Like, to me, it's like those things like inside your body that you can't tell. You're not a doctor. Excuse me. And then something's wrong and then it'll just hit you one day and, you just never know. So
No,
I
you
think
don't.
health is huge, and it's something I'm
Health
super
and
passionate
health
about.
and wellness is a big thing. You always hear many people talk about it, and people that get involved with it and try to motivate you to get into it. And I think it always gonna have to come at the person's own discretion, because you don't want to be forced to feel to do something. You don't be forced to go ahead and feel like, well, I have to do this because they're telling me, or I have to do this. And then in the
Hmm.
same breath, you don't want to be forced to do something because you're fucking going to the hospital and they're like, you're gonna fucking die
Yeah.
if you don't do this or do
Right.
that.
You
Like I
don't
said
want it to
again,
be
like.
like the change to happen because something really bad happened.
Yeah, and like I share, like I love my favorite hobby, smoke cigars, and I love that, and I don't want that taken away from me. But at the same token, I do have to be realistic. Like I know, quote unquote, they're not the best thing to be putting
Right.
in you to begin with, even though they
And
taste
I
great
would
and they're
not take
great.
that away from you. Like, I would never
No,
say,
and you
like,
never have where like, no, you gotta
stop.
stop smoking or you're gonna work out. You
Do
would
I say,
just,
like, please balance it and maybe when you're smoking that first cigar, like, walk around the block?
yeah, and I
Absolutely.
did
But
that
I would
during the
never be like,
summer.
you better fucking stop or I'm going to throw all those cigars out in your office.
There
Like, I
was
would never do that.
there was a peak of during the quarantine when everything was fully locked down, where I would go for walks out around the whatever around the house or down the neighborhood, and there are a couple times I went with Eli, whatever, and things of that nature. To kind of give it that balance versus just sitting my ass in back, sitting on an iPad watching something, and then snacking on something while I'm enjoying it. But you know what I mean? Like it's definitely something that's been real interesting to be a part of these last couple weeks. I definitely feel a difference. Now I feel too that when I work out, I'm not as sore. But do I have certain workouts like yesterday's workout that fucking kicked my ass? That it put me to bed when I got home. I just wanted to go to fucking sleep. Like I wanted to lay down. My body, I could like feel my body regenerating and recovering. But I knew I wanted to get that rest. Which side note, for those of you out there who like might have seen these workout bands, the rubber band workout bands, I call it the rubber bands because they got
Hmm.
the same material, similar
They're
material,
different colors and
different colors,
everything,
different
different, like,
things.
weights,
But the
basically.
crazy thing is I know like at least I made a joke when you first popped on the scene with them. What like 4 or 5 years ago? We were in Orlando.
Hmm.
I was down there for
I told them
WrestleMania.
everywhere because it's super easy way to like work
But
out, whether you're traveling, whether you're at home or whatever.
and you had them, and I remember like just being like, "What the fuck is how you work out?" Like again, my old school mentality from when you're young, it's like you gotta be at a gym with the metal clinging and all that good stuff. And I'm like, shit. Like you do those workouts, you're like, motherfucker, these things burn. These things to get you going. The
It
resistance
almost,
on them is
yeah,
ridiculous.
it
Like,
almost hurts more. It's like a deeper burn because you are forced to control that band so it doesn't go flying
yeah,
back.
because if you don't, that's just gonna slingshot. And I know now there's like
Yep.
a bunch of funny videos you can see online now where those are like detaching themselves because the way people
Yeah.
put them and they're
And
slapping
I've
them in their
acquired
nuts or their face.
so much more, like over quarantine, obviously. I've gotten so much more bands. I've got this whole door contraption that you attach to the bands to, like, because I had to like make way without my gym for such a long time. So, yeah, it's been really good, and I hope to introduce you to more because those bands workouts that really is what like gave me my first really amazing workout during quarantine that gave me like the most change ever, was from those bands and those programs who I get from Jim Stepani. His programs, specifically the Super Shred 8 program with the bands, killer. Fucking killer. It killed me.
Like I said, everyone check those out. If you that's a journey you want to go down the path of, and if you have something at home and you don't want to go to a big busy gym, for those gyms that are open or at certain capacity, if you still feel uncomfortable, that's your prerogative. But look into these bands. I'm like, they'll definitely give you a little bit of
They're
a workout
awesome.
that'll kick
And
your
I
ass.
think that it's a good way to start, even for like people like you who like, you could really adjust to it. Like you've seen it. If it seems too light, you just move a little bit forward. If it's too heavy, you move a little bit back. Like it's so easy to adjust to every skill or workout level. So yeah, I think you're doing really good, and I hope that you continue learning, and hopefully when things go quote unquote back to normal, and maybe gyms like open full time, and we're able to go back with us and the kids and everything else. Hopefully you'll continue.
Definitely will do. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the excuse me, looking forward to the progress. Damn, sometimes I'm always stumbling back on my words. Sometimes I listen to our episodes back and I'm like, in my mind, I heard it coming out like that, but then I end up stumbling. But when I do, I have no problem
I think
of
I
going
have a
back and correct.
lisp.
A lisp?
Have you noticed or no? Like
No,
I
I
feel like
think you're just
sometimes I feel
loud.
like I'm
I
loud, but
think you're
like
out
there's some
loud.
kind of lisp going on. Like it's not a
Yeah.
full on like but like there's some kind of lisp. This is
It's,
very weird.
it's funny, and not to go into no long side story, but real quick, like, so I learned when I was going to school for radio, like, and when I catch it, I apologize about it. Like I say it, like I say, excuse me, I mean, or I apologize, and I'll say it because versus either trying to re-say something or go edit something out, like you acknowledge it, and then you'll know as you continue to do, you'll catch those mistakes before they happen. But it's funny, yeah, like what my
Oh.
mind says. And I think what I'm saying throughout my mouth is totally different. And sometimes I end up just talking too
Or
fucking
sometimes
fast.
you lose the words. Like I know exactly what I'm trying to say, but because like I'm new to this and like talking on something like this, like I'm not good at that. Like you went to school for that, I didn't, so I'm kind of like wishy-washy sometimes and like all over the place. Like I'll lose my word and I'm like, fuck,
It's
like
happened. The
and
mic's hot. Imagine when it's live and if you're doing something
no,
live. That's why.
I'd
And
be a
I catch
fucking
myself
mess.
now sometimes if I'm doing something live where again I speak a little too fast and I'm like I stumble over my words like blah, blah, blah. Or certain pronunciations will throw me off. And I know what I want to say, but I just
That would
can't
make me
fucking say
so
it right.
nervous.
So.
Like we're 7 episodes in now, and I feel obviously way more comfortable than I did like the first episode. But the first episode, I was like hyping my shit up. I was like, okay, you could do this. It's fine. No one's
Yeah,
watching
now
you.
you
We're
kind of
like
just
behind a
walk into the
mic.
fucking studio here and you just kind of kick back. And
Yeah, like
sometimes
now I'm fine.
I'm like, check you out. I'll suddenly fucking
Yeah,
profesh.
I'm like a profesh potter. I'm just gonna put on my resume. I should put on my Instagram.
You should update your LinkedIn.
I should. People, I might get hired. They might hear me and be like, she's super funny. I'm super funny.
Go for it. Reach for the stars.
Reach for the stars is what they say in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. 7 weeks in and in the industry.
But anyways, so yeah, fitness. So we're like, they say it takes like 3 weeks to make a habit. So I'm hoping this habit continues and we keep going with this. So you could live a long, healthy life together with us for our kids and their grandkids. And, but also, what was I gonna say?
There you go. You're stumbling on the words.
I
I
know.
can see your
Stop
face.
it. I know because
You're like,
we
I
were
know what I
talking
wanna
about
say,
it now,
but I don't
and now I'm like
remember.
paranoid.
I just
And
said that.
oh my god, no! Now you're making me paranoid.
Wait
but
till we start filming some of these. This is gonna be fucking.
I
funny.
know I really want to too because everyone's like, you should like put on YouTube or whatever so you could like they could see us do this like live and with all our fuck ups and everything. But I think it's important to be healthy. This is what I was gonna say. And during the holidays, not to get like super serious, but like me, I fucking love the holidays. I'm super like fucking jolly. I fucking decorate my Jeep, like we decorate like
Yeah.
mid-November with a tree up and shit like that.
Yep.
But someone had posted on Facebook and I copied and put it on my status. It was one of those things. But someone posted this and I was reading it and it was just saying like about the holidays and then it kind of like went into saying like, holidays, are really happy for some, but then, I think people always, they forget about the people who it's really not so happy for. Like maybe there's a bad memory or maybe they just like, lost someone recently or, in the last couple of years. And it's not easy for everyone. And especially now, I think, whether it's people struggling with money, struggling with losses, struggling with like things like that, I think it's really important to remember those people, whether it's pets. I was talking to one of my girlfriends today who's going through something with one of her dogs, and I'm gonna start crying just thinking about it. Like, those are all. Meanwhile, our dogs are snoring in the background. Those are all like family members, and I think, it gave me an even softer spot than I already do for Christmas. Like I find, like this is crazy. I was in like I think it was like Facebook Memories or Time Hop or some shit like that, where like every time around Christmas, the picture of my dog who had passed away, and I always say like 3 to 4 years ago, but it's now like 2020, and I think he passed away in 2014. So is it like 6 years now that my dog Chico has like not been here?
It's coming up because that was that. If you're talking about that was the last picture that I took with them because we went for Christmas.
Yep.
We took and it's him. I'm holding him and I'm holding Chucky by
That one,
myself.
yeah, that's one of my favorite one always comes up where it's just him laying on the pillow by the tree.
And I remember before we left for our trip to Dominican Republic, which is shortly after Christmas.
Yep.
And I remember leaning down by the tree because sometimes he would be really aggressive with me. Sometimes like he was real close to me because
Yeah.
that was obviously he was in the picture before me. And I remember always being cautious because I always was I'm always cautious with dogs. And I remember going ahead and like leaning towards him, and he was gonna snarl, but he just didn't have the energy to. And I just looked at him and said it was gonna be okay. And that's when we knew like that was when the peak of it was. He was starting to feel like something was going on internally. He started getting
Yep.
a little lump on his side. But yeah, that was
Yep.
that Christmas picture. That's the last picture that I have with him and
Yeah.
Chucks, who Chucks is still with us. He's here right now,
And
hanging
so
out.
he's sitting with me right now. But yeah, I really, like I was saying, I think Christmas gets me in my feels regardless. But always during Christmas, I miss him a little bit more. And I think it's just, and I could just imagine, I don't want to sound, I don't know, like corny to people who are actually losing family members or parents or grandparents and things
But
like that.
still,
But
again, like you said earlier, that's something that's a part of someone's family. They're
they're
part
family,
of your
they're like
pack.
family. And
They may
they'll,
not be a human being that could talk, but that's
right.
still. I mean, look at yesterday. I was, watching that interview with Pete Johnson from Tatuaje Cigars, who said,
Yeah, oh, I
"Who
love
man,
that.
shout outs to Pete. Like he's such a down to earth dude, and to hear him, and he's a, a major player in the industry. He's got a real great line of cigars. To hear him talk about like, oh, when my Rottweiler died, I wanted to give up and not do cigars no more."
It,
And most people be like,
yeah,
again, like you said, those people that would be like, all sad, be like, oh my god, it's a dog, and you're gonna give up on cigars,
it's,
and everybody smokes your cigars. It's
I
just
feel like
not in it.
pets, it's such a devastating loss. I think it's so hard because, like you said, they can't talk, and you want to say the proper goodbye or, let them know how much you've loved them their entire life. And it's
Yeah,
hard when the holidays come around and you feel like just something, a little something is missing. And it's that little family member that's missing. So, anyways, I'm always like in my feels, and I just feel like, extra sensitive, especially in these times where people have lost people or, lost family where due to COVID and other things like that. And it's, it's a hard time.
it is
So
a hard. This year's definitely hard, obviously, because of what was going on with the pandemic. And I mean, God, I mean, Christmas is already next week. How crazy is
it's
that?
crazy. It's that's
And
10 days away. What?
and you start hearing all these stories that come out too. Like I was talking to an individual that was sharing a story about that their like cousin's mom had died or whatever, which and then doesn't make sense. It's like there's something like it's one of those second cousins' moms, whatever type of shit. But anyways, where I was getting at, he's like, yeah, she just passed away, and it's right before Christmas, and they had plans, and you start to think like man, like it's always harder to lose someone around the holidays, or just right
Always.
before the holidays, or like we talked about like in Thanksgiving, like I talked about like I remember like my mom, they would all get emotional over like when holidays would come and certain family members that couldn't be there or certain families that were no longer there, they would be so emotional. When you're young, you don't get it. You're like, why are they crying? And now you get it. And I remember like New Year's, which New Year's is coming. That was a big one too. Like, oh my God, I'm letting go of everything. I'm not gonna cry the New Year's, and I never understood it. But this is just everybody has a certain feels and certain
Yeah.
feelings of what things mean to them, and
Yeah.
definitely this year's
And
that
grieving is
year
hard,
where
and
it's
losses are
different.
hard. Grieving is hard, and everyone
Any loss, like I said, I
Yeah.
don't judge anybody's like again to beat down that for lack of a better words, that dead horse of example that you gave when you were just like, oh, for anybody's might be sappy that it's like what if they are, man, fuck you, because everybody's could grieve their own way. Everybody could grieve what they want to grieve for, because that's dumb. I think right now we live in a society where you're not allowed to have your opinion no more. It's got to be the general opinion. Because if it's not the general opinion, you're wrong. Like, what happened to, like, cool, well, if I feel like a dog is like a family member, that's my opinion. If you don't feel like a dog's a family member, that's your opinion. If you don't feel like this, and so on and so forth. And I
Yeah.
think people lose sight of that. And I never knock anybody's feeling what they have feeling towards something or someone, because that's them and that's their feeling.
Yeah.
I'm not
It
their
really
feeling, you
is.
know.
Like love is in many, many different forms. And if that's, you know, an animal that's been by your side, if that's a parent that's been by your side, you know, it's not easy regardless. So, you
It's
know.
not, and I mean, we'll get into some more Christmas shenanigans next week. I mean, because next week we got the week of Christmas, and we'll be able to
I
get our
know.
episode in before
Holy
the
cow.
holidays. And hopefully you'll stop fucking snooping around on shit that I'm buying you and shaking boxes and
I'm not. I actually really like being surprised, so like I try not to be like nosy and shit.
I tell you right now, I'm about to
I
fucking.
have no idea what you're getting me, minus that bag that showed up today that was from DSW. That was definitely not a shoebox.
Well,
So
first off, DSW, damn it, you fucking send a gift like not discreet, like your fucking logo all over the fucking thing.
they want to
Obviously,
whore
I
their
didn't get
logo
to vet
out.
it before I got home. There's two packages that came. It was from two different vendors. The
Yep,
first vendor
and
was
I didn't see the
DSW. The
other
second one,
one.
I'm not telling you.
I
But
didn't.
I'm
I
like,
didn't see it. I promise.
I saw the camera go off, and I thought you were gone already. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then when I talked to you, like, oh yeah, you got two packages that came. And I'm like, what the fuck? And you're like, yeah, one's from DSW. I'm like, shit. And then you're like, yeah, it feels soft. I'm like, here we go with the fucking guessing shit. It
Well,
feels
they
soft,
don't even
feels
put
light,
it in a
weighs
box
this,
though.
weighs
That's
that.
the problem. That's not my fault. It's
Nothing.
theirs.
They're all fucking. I
It
low
comes
key.
in that little bag, like how T-shirts come. Like no, there's no like cardboard in it. It's not a box. It's literally just in this little like Ziploc bag, basically.
I low key want to fucking pull a Karen, like email them, be like, you ruined my Christmas.
Oh my
Don't
God.
get me started. The other fucking gift that I got you, they fucking slapped the label on the box. And just said ship
Of
the
the
box.
company?
Yeah, so on the fucking box, if you were to turn it around, you could start seeing pictures and names. You'd be like, oh, I see what this
But
is.
they probably think like they're sending something cute. You know what I mean?
I guess, but I'm just saying, I'm assuming
like,
that if
"Oh,
you see
we're
a
like-"
spike in sales during the month of
Yeah.
December, then you should think like, hey, this got to be a Christmas gift. This ain't a regular dandy. And I ain't telling them to fucking gift wrap the thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
just
like
saying,
how
be a little bit more
Amazon will have that
discreet.
little box saying like, "Is this a gift?" So it won't send like the receipt or how much it was,
Yeah,
something
it's just
like that.
Jesus Christ, like, or do you live with this person and this individual? Should we put something
I-
pseudo?
I think that's a little detailed.
I mean, you see fucking ads for like porn or whatever, that little shit for Adams and Eve, and they tell you
Yeah.
like, and we'll send it with
come
a
in a discreet box.
yeah, discreet box and discreet shipping address. Like,
Are you
damn, they
saying-
fucking get
Are
it.
you saying DSW should be like Adam and Eve?
I'm saying they should. They should probably run good promo codes like Adam and Eve, because Adam and Eve, man.
They got the promos.
The other night, bro, that shit came on at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe
We're
like 80% off, and you're like, wow, what
It's
a
like,
deal.
we have 80% off plus an additional 25%. You're like, man, that's 105%.
Yeah, and a free vibrator.
And yeah.
Wow.
And we'll throw in an extra 10 gifts for you and 10 gifts for
That
him.
is a special.
I was like, God damn. I'm like,
You're
man.
like, sign me up.
I was like, well, yeah. I was like, what do I buy? I'm wondering like how the hell they get away with like giving away that much shit, or like, or maybe
They-
the one item they're selling you is like double the
They
price.
got an abundance of dildos and swings just hanging out there at the warehouse.
Maybe I'm like,
Can you imagine the warehouse? What is that warehouse like? There's probably just like dildos rolling around places. Like
falling
they
out
probably,
the I
they
don't
probably,
think they'd be rolling around like.
But no,
That'd be
they-
unsanitary.
Can you imagine working in a warehouse like that? They probably like take one of those things that stick to the wall and like throw it up to the ceiling. Like, ha! Let's see if that can stick up there.
I guess that'll be you if you work at a warehouse. Cause I would
that would
hope.
100%.
I would
be me.
hope that they would keep everything boxed up neatly, because I mean that shit to just be like a rack of dildos and they're all loose and they're just grabbing
they need
them,
to
and
keep
then
it,
someone
COVID-less.
orders it and sticks it in there with JJ and all that business, then knowing that fucking Tommy at the warehouse was throwing it on the ceiling.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you got the vid, and that's it.
Or
From Adam and
fucking
Eve.
you go ahead and you get your swing and you're like, wait a second, this swing looks already, it's got creases in the
Used.
leather. You're like,
It's
who?
like worn out.
It's like worn out or some
Oh
shit. You're
my
like, what the
God.
fuck are they doing in the warehouse? I mean, it'd be funny. It's like that meme of like, you think your job's shitty? What about this lady? And
Yeah,
she's a lady
I
that fucking
know.
dips the dildos in
Those
the
are
paint.
the things you don't think about. Who does that?
Yeah, that's kind
Who
of.
picks the color?
The
They're like, you know what? This is the right glittery pink. This is spot on.
Or do you think she giggles every time she sees them all those dicks lined up in front of her?
Yeah, or you go to the store or wherever, and you're like, I worked on that package.
What about the ones that have the vagina molds and their ass molds and they're like asshole
Yeah,
molds, where
I
it's
think
like
it's detailed. You
it
know,
is like I
there's
used to.
a lot of details involved. Okay, that
It
you don't
is.
know about. The
And
creative department there is crazy.
Well, and I've seen some of those up close. Not that I owned any outright. I used to do DJ the sex conventions or the sex. It
Mhm.
was sex con and the porn conventions. I mean, there was two different ones that I would DJ at. And
My
obviously,
favorite was the guy that was in the cage.
that would
a
be
small dog cage with a collar on
that
it.
was
on it.
Larry Goon's world famous
Yeah.
sex con. Yeah.
He was legit in a dog cage, like the size of our dog's
And
cage.
he had whitey tighties on, and the girl was yelling at him. Yeah, that was sex con.
And he was barking
Now-
with a collar on.
Yeah, and then the convention was different because the convention was the actual porn stars, and I was DJ for Tits Clothing, Two in a Shirt Clothing. Shout outs to the fam, Merrick, B-Boy, Rex, the whole squad. Yeah, I was DJing for them, and they had their booth because they would sell their T-shirts. So we were hanging out with all the movie stars, and it was funny because I used to like have.
I mean the porn stars.
Yeah,
The porn movie stars.
they're still movie stars. So I just show them a little respect, and you'd go and you'd be there or whatever, and you meet them or whatever. And I mean the biggest misconception would be like, oh, you saw this one, I bet you they're trying to fuck. I'm like, no, they would handle their shit like business. Like those are businessmen and businesswomen. Like just because that's their profession. You can't
because
just walk up to them and be like, I'm
yeah.
gonna fuck you, can I grab your titty? No, it was like $20 for a picture, $25 I'm gonna put my hand on my boobs.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's
da-da-da-da.
how legit how they make their living. They fuck for a living. It's different. It's not like conventional, but it's still their fucking way of making money in business. So,
But where
I mean,
I was getting at with that, some of those would be there. They would be autographing their own molds and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, it's crazy to think like someone's molding your shit for someone, some creeper. No, let me take that back because everybody, again, I'm a big fan of if that's your thing, that's your thing. But someone who that's their thing of,
has your vagina at home.
yeah, has your vagina
Right.
at home and acts like they're hitting it, which I guess essentially it's an actual mold. So I guess they
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah,
hitting it. It's
exactly.
just- yeah.
Hey, everyone's like into their own shit. There's some crazy shit out there. Yeah, there's some crazy shit out there.
There is. And if you want 85% off, you can go to
Yeah,
AdamandEve.
go to AdamandEve.com for all your special
I
needs.
see you right now, and they are not a sponsor of the show. 'Cause I'm sure someone's
They
gonna be
should
like,
be.
they're gonna be like, man, they mentioned them 3
I'm gonna
different
tag them.
times. Like, I wonder if they're fucking sponsored by them or some shit. I mean, all props to AdamandEve.com. Again, you can see it. People are gonna think they're gonna be like, yeah, that's some low key advertising. It's not.
Shout out to the deals.
But they had those deals 1:00 in the morning. Those commercials come up. Take advantage of that. Get your
They know their demographic.
Get your swings. So you're saying where their demographic?
I mean, it's either Adam or
30-something-year-olds sitting
or
in the
mesothelioma or whatever you call it.
mesothelioma is a big one.
Yeah.
Meso. We'll call it the mess.
The mess.
The mess
The
pill.
mess.
You always see that commercial, and then you get all these commercials about AIDS awareness, like your Truvadas and your other ones that
Yep.
will take away your AIDS, but it'll give you diarrhea, headache, anxiety, and depression. So
You fix one thing and 20 other things go wrong. You know, that's just how life is.
that's how medicine is in general.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. That's a whole nother conspiracy in itself.
That sure is. And, well, you know what? I think it's time for us to get out of here and go try our swing.
Yeah.
Uh,
The used one. The used one that we have to return, but we're going to use it first before we return it.
Everyone's low-key gonna
Before it
think,
goes back to the warehouse.
yeah, everybody's little low-key think like we're sponsored by them and that we own a swing.
That has dildos on the ceiling.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, those two, I knew it. They own a fucking swing. So, yeah, we appreciate it. Another week, another episode in.
Another day, another dollar.
Keep making sure, for those of you guys have rating capabilities on your favorite platforms, to make sure you guys rate us and leave us a comment and share the show with friends, and make sure you keep spreading the good word.
I'm really sorry that this show escalated so fast. It went from fitness to Christmas.
Sex swing is like
sad.
still working out. You gotta swing like wait.
No, but here's the thing. It went to fitness, to Christmas and loss and grieving, to sex swings. There was really a very odd transition in between, and I honestly don't know where it went astray. So
It's just like us. We'll take you
It's
on a
just how
fucking
it
ride.
is.
It's the feeling. It's
Just-
like hanging out with us on a Friday night.
I know
We
it's
covered it all.
it escalates real quick. It's fine. I'm comfortable with it. I just hope everyone else is comfortable with it.
0 to 100 real quick,
That's
as
no
they
chill.
would like to say. 0 chill.
It got real messy real quick.
I wouldn't say messy. It's got real.
Oh, it was messy.
All right, everyone. We appreciate the love. Thank you for tuning in. As
Happy
always,
hump day. Peace out.
Nice. You didn't call them bitches. Good job.
Bitches. Motherfuckers.
There it goes.